Alright, this video is going to talk about how to win 2v3 tank fights or similar armor fights where you're down an armor piece. This is an old video on an old layer. It's Mutaha Ras v4, back when there was 3 leopards and 3 T-72s on spawn. We're going to talk about the importance of positioning, identifying threats, target selection, and communication. We have 2 leopards right now, 3-man crewed, and the second gunner of the second tank will be Jack John.
Do we want to start going on tanks on observe?
We get a call for tanks on observe, so I'm already scanning and I look at a splash here.
75. Yep.
Engage the first tank, notice 2 tanks, and a lot of things happens here. First one being is because we called out tanks on observe, I'm assuming there's going to be 3. I focus the first one that was fired at, which was this one. And I tell my gunner to hold because we're in a good hold down position over here. While this is happening, we have Jack in the second tank pushing down and continuing while I hold my position. This is what we're doing is a strategy similar to infantry bounding, where one person will lay down a base of fire and suppress the enemy, while the other person will move and bound to a different piece of cover to get to another place that's advantageous or just to close the distance. This is especially good in your armor fights because you'll have your tank be focused in better cover, which is usually in a hold down position, while your second tank will wrap around and flank to the side of the enemy tanks where their ammo rack is a lot easier to hit, and usually it'll cause them to split their target selection. Either people will be focused on trying to hit the harder target to hit, which would be me, or they'll switch targets and try to hit him, which will allow me to either bound or just get easier shots off of them since they're not going to be returning fire. Another thing that happens here is my command seat is staring at the same thing that I'm staring at. I see a lot of blueberries do this, where as soon as they see action, both the gunner and the commander will only be looking at whatever's in front of the vehicle, whatever's happening at the moment. The commander's job is to be looking and scanning for other threats, whether it be other vehicles or enemy AT. And right over here, you'll notice that even though I'm shooting at this tank, I notice that Jack shoots at the second tank on the right here, and I immediately switch targets and targets him. And the reason why I want to do that is because, and this applies to all armor fights, but especially in armor fights where you're down an armor piece. You want to focus one target first to get as many guns out of the fight as fast as possible. This guy's ammo racked, and so I move my target back over here and I mark it with an observe saying that I'm going to be attacking this tank. But I notice that this tank is a lot more exposed, has an easier ammo rack shot to hit, and so I send the round over here instead. Jack will notice this and send his round over here too. It's, in terms of communication, it really doesn't have to be as complicated as talking, saying I'm hitting this, I'm hitting that. It could be as simple as putting an observe mark to show which tank you're shooting at, or again, as simple as just shooting around at something else and making sure that your other vehicle, your other tank, or what have you, is paying attention and shooting the same target that you are. But after this is pretty much straightforward. Whenever we have take-on-take fights, we're always trying to hit the ammo racks. And that's pretty much it. There'll be a part where we get hit in the ammo rack. I'll tell my driver to back up, just so we can do a little tank shimmy where we shoot and move back into cover, so it'll be harder for him to get around off on us. And while this happens, I'm telling him, okay, pull back up, retreat, pull back up. And I'm shooting the back of his head here. And that's pretty much it for this video. Again, you have to identify when to hold and when it's better for you or your other tank to push and outflank. You have to make sure that you are focusing the same target and get those guns out of the fight as fast as possible. Go for ammo rack shots, of course. and you have to communicate with both driver and your command seat, which is what I failed to do um, in this clip, about your needs and your wants of what you want to do. For the driver, it'd be either backing up into cover and then peeking back out again to get a shot off, or to your command gunner or command seat, that he should stop staring at the same thing I'm staring at and scanning for targets. Other than that, that's about it. Thanks for watching.